Hello, everybody. Welcome to Night City Wire number 5 live coverage right here on the Triple S League. And yes, the question Funky Moyne asked in the chat, will there be Doggo Cam? Absolutely, there will be Doggo Cam. And as a matter of fact, we have an additional special guest here. We've got the Cato Cam today. Who's that? Who are?
This chunker is Luna.
Ah.
Yes, she keeps me here in one of the seats.
Our faithful pet's always beside us here. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so welcome everybody. That other voice that you just heard is, of course, Moontag, and we have some Cybsidian with us as well. Good morning, sir. How's it going?
Good.
Good. And we have, we're just about 27 minutes away from Night City Wire actually starting on CDPR's Twitch page. We have, I've also got, here, I'll just put up, so the visuals you're seeing on your screen right now is, of course, and of course it's showing this particular scene that everybody loves. This is the surprise Night City Wire that happened a couple of days ago. So, yeah, it's, this was very interesting because, I mean, what they showed a couple of days ago with the Xbox footage, they could easily have shown on tonight's Night City Wire, or today's Night City Wire. So, it gives me the impression that there's...
Scene right here?
What's that?
Why did we start with that scene?
That's just where it was when I turned it on. When I turned it on, that's just where it happened to be at.
Okay.
Because when I put the video in OBS, it doesn't actually have like video controls. That's one thing where, that's one annoyance when you put a video in.
Oh, so sorry for the rather gruesome scene that was just there.
It's not that
brutal.
Gruesome. It's worse when you have the sound. So anyway, the Night City Wire from a couple days ago was a surprise one. So they didn't number it. So that was technically the 5th Night City Wire, but what we're going to be seeing here today is Night City Wire number 5. We are, and we're exactly 3 weeks out from the game's release. So today was supposed to be the release date of the game. Well, after a couple of delays, today was supposed to be the release date, and then of course it got pushed back to December 10th. So
I hid the first release date. I worked so hard on that. I talked to so many people. It wasn't like I didn't have like an inside memo. I literally like was able to like postulate, guess it down to the exact day, on top of like just like having it subtly confirmed by a handful of insiders. Again, nothing from inside the studio. It was mostly my work, and I was so happy with that. And we were gonna have this like year to the day thing, and it was gonna be great. It was gonna be huge. It was gonna be awesome. And then they moved it, and then they moved it, and then that's when I gave up trying to do like anything special for it. So
yeah.
I'm like, they just keep moving the day. So now it's just so disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah.
Anyway, I mean,
I need to mention this. So Mad Queen is not streaming today. She's not feeling well. If you follow her on Twitter, please send her some love. Yeah, because it always sucks when you just can't do a big stream day like that. That there's nothing that's more frustrating and aggravating and painful than when you need to do a big stream or you need to do a big video and you just can't get to it. There's nothing more painful than that. So
yeah, that is frustrating. Notional saying, wow, finally some Let's Players playing CDPR Cyberpunk 2077 now that it's finally released. Yes, always with the cheek in the chat. Notional, good to see you. Yes, it is sad about Mad Queen. 3 weeks, yes, says Blissful Soul. Gaming Tonight says, Johnny Silverhand and music. Yes, that is what we're expecting to see. That's what they told us we would be seeing. If that's it, it won't be the best Night City Wire. I mean, I would agree that wouldn't be the best set of content that they've done, but I I'm anticipating there's going to be some surprises because that's like they usually do 3 segments, if not 3 segments plus, a little more on top of that. So, what is that third segment going to be? Like I said, it could have been that Xbox footage that we saw a couple days ago. So, what is it going to actually end up being? I don't know. Surprise, we're actually not delaying it and it's releasing today. I mean, that's probably best case scenario, and probably I've got my head in the clouds there.
Well, if anything, I've been really, really looking forward to like what they're going to be covering on the music, because like that has always been like a huge part of the gaming experience for me, for like really setting the mood and getting like the right vibes, you know?
Yep. Yep.
That, and like I'm so curious to see like more development. Like, even just here, we just saw Johnny in the video there, and like I'm so excited to see what else they're going to tell us about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot they can do with him because, of course, he is. I mean, he's a well-established lore character. He is from the earliest of the tabletop games, as far as I know. At least he's from all the way back in 2020. And some big stories in the world revolve around him. Lots of character lore there, so yeah, there's a lot they can draw from in terms of Cyberpunk lore, but there's also a lot they can do with him, with as far as new lore, as far as who he is now in the year 2077, and yeah, he seems like a pretty interesting character. I'm still trying to decide if he looks weird without the sunglasses or not. Someone in the chats the other day was saying he looks weird without the sunglasses. He does look different. I'm so used to seeing him with sunglasses, it's kind of jarring to see him with just Keanu face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hopefully this is the last one we're getting because game release, says the Islington girl, and I mean, I would assume this is the last one before, definitely the last one before the game releases. Can't say for sure, and we don't know that they're not going to do more after game release. They might do some about the DLCs and updates and things like that. I actually think that would be pretty good for them to do, to keep connecting with the community and not just drop that as right after the game releases. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, so Johnny Silverhand, we're going to see some more of the music, which should be pretty good. And I don't know. Side Moontag, what do you guys think we might see in addition to that? I'm wondering if we're going to see info on the expansions. They did say that they would be introducing all the expansions before the game released. Now, they said that a few weeks ago, and then they've had some hiccups since then, so...
Yeah, so one of the things that they... the way that they phrased it originally, to me, it made me feel, and I think I mentioned this a few times, that I didn't think we were going to get this is going to be the expansion here, and this is going to be the expansion there, and we, I don't think they were going to do that, because that would give away a lot of potential story arcs and data that some people might be assuming. And I also said that I didn't believe 100% they're not going to show us footage of these expansions, because they don't exist right now. They exist as conceptual concepts, and some work has been started up on them in places where some employees that they literally cannot do anything other than playtest and bug hunt in the game, right? In the base game.
Right, yeah.
And so their job maybe is already starting to move over to those expansions. We've talked about this before. It's like quite possibly the sound designer, right? The sound designer should be done pretty much everything in the base game, and it should be done, but we don't know if it is. I'm just using it as one of the more likely examples between them and concept artists. They might be completely done and they might be working on that, but they don't have. I very highly doubt they have programmers, working on that, and bulk devs I suspect that maybe a level designer or two might be working on this kind of stuff already, but it's highly unlikely. And I think what the way that they phrased it meant that we would be getting maybe the names of the DLC of the expansions, and that's it. So we don't know what they would contain. We don't know what would happen. We could postulate with the names, but it might be trying to like it would be like trying to guess like what is Blood and Wine, right at the release of The Witcher 3. It's like you could guess, but you don't know for sure. And so that's kind of how I felt about that from the beginning, because I feel that some people ran away with this rumor that had been, oh yeah, they're going to showcase all of the DLCs, like they're going to show like trailers and stuff like that. I really doubt that. It's not impossible, but I think the audience would be upset if they found out that a bunch of development time went to 2 or 3 expansions that are coming out, shortly. Like, I think people would be upset at that, and I don't think that CDPR is the type to do that. I really don't think that they're the type to do that.
No, I don't think. I mean, I agree. I don't think we're not going to see like we're not going to see gameplay footage or we might see a trailer, but I mean, again, yeah, I don't want them putting time and effort into that instead of actually getting the game out the door. In fact, I think it's kind of odd for them to announce the expansions before the game's even out. I'd rather they didn't, and maybe they won't. Maybe that plan has changed, or maybe whoever, maybe it was misspoken or we misunderstood what that meant when they said that. Game notes. No, you haven't missed it yet. What you're seeing on the screen now is from a couple days ago. Today's Night City Wire starts in 15 minutes. 16 minutes? It's really small on my screen here. What does that say?
Yeah.
15 or 16? Anyway, now it says 15 for sure. So just under 16 minutes from now. And Fritz Musterman, welcome again. Hello again. Speaking of music, thoughts on the first OG version of Chippin' In? I haven't listened to either version in some time. Do you guys have any thoughts about that?
I haven't listened.
It's not my style of music.
Yeah.
It is. In neither version is my style of music. I listen to the stuff, but I don't have an artistic critique of it in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, sadly I don't have.
There's some music that I just don't listen to, or I don't have an ear for, and because my ear palette is kind of unique. So yeah, unfortunately, I'd say I have to say no. But
yeah.
I looked at a version of it I liked. It definitely gives me very much that sort of concert vibe. Like, I really like, honestly, just it really sets the mood.
All right. So Moon, I think you should you might want to turn this, whatever you did with the noise canceling, maybe pull it back just a bit, because it was cutting your voice off a little bit there. Yeah. So I know there's a lot of opinions about Chippin' In, and I feel the vibe I've gotten is that people much prefer the original version to the newer version. So that's the vibe I've gotten. I don't have really much of an opinion I can speak on right now.
It's not only Nightcore game notes. Nightcore is by far like my favorite genre, but not by far. Sorry, it's closely held with another genre, and they're like neck and neck almost. But Nightcore usually takes the lead because there's more variety of Nightcore. You can have more styles in it. Nightcore is just a format on top of a style, so it's kind of nice like that. But it's not necessarily. I just noticed something in this video. V is a dick. He just parked that car in the middle of the lane and just got out and left.
He's a rocker boy.
Well, this is female V playing, so.
Oh wait, this is female. All right,
So
okay,
she
all
is
right.
being.
Actually, I realize now that the car can drive itself. It probably just timed itself so that it would pull up there after driving around the block a few
Oh,
times.
I
That
get it. I get it. So when it's male
awesome.
V doing that, he's a dick. But when it's
Yeah,
female V,
yeah, I'm not calling out female drivers. Are you kidding me?
that's probably very
No, sorry. I'm going to avoid that with a 10-foot pole. No,
that's
no, she is
probably very
absolutely
wise. Yeah.
right to do that. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Anyway, the uh, no, it's epic music, like the deep, like really like hyper emotional scores of like orchestral music. It's like that's the other one that's like neck and neck with Nightcore. But there's some types of music that like I like a song or two, but I just can't stand most of them because it's just I just don't hear it the way that I assume other people hear it. So I don't know, it's weird.
All right. All right. Let's see here. Common Pants says prefer Never Fade Away myself. Game Note says he likes the new version of Chippin' In.
The new Run the Jewels song is really cool.
It is.
Oh my gosh, yes, the Run the Jewels, yeah, that was amazing. I've been sharing it with my friends, and it's so awesome.
It's really
Now we probably are not going to be able to show some of the songs that they're showcasing today because they are by these big artists. So we'll have to kind of see because it probably I don't want it to get taken down and then us to have to go through that whole rigmarole. So yeah, just be have a happy trigger finger there.
well. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I mean,
Yeah.
if they're putting it on, they know this is going to be restreamed and covered, and you know, there might be. I highly doubt there would be any takedowns. There might be, there might be a
Me too.
copyright. There might be a flag, but not like a takedown.
By the way, later today, we are going to be doing the Game Awards stream. Pretty sure it's later. Pretty sure we'll do this later today. We might hold it over till tomorrow, but pretty sure that we want to try and do this today. The Game Awards are up. The choices are live, and I want to go through it with the community and see where we're getting the feels on this. So there's some really cool stuff, and I want to go through and kind of like vote for everything. And yeah, so we're going to be planning on doing that hopefully sometime later today, probably in like 6 hours or something.
All right. You
So
want to do
probably-
that just in the Discord server, or
No, I kind of want to do it live.
Okay.
So yeah, like we'll just set it up and we'll stream it. So please keep your ear to the ground for that.
yeah, we'll have a stream scheduled for that then. All right.
Mhm.
Game Notes. I think the soundtrack will be the best in game history for a long while. I honestly don't doubt that. I mean, there's been some games with some pretty good soundtracks. Doom and Doom Eternal. I mean, amazing. And Fallout for, like the Fallout games, for all their flaws, do have great music. So, but I think where this is going to kill it is the variety and the amount of music in it, the amount of artists, etc., etc. Like, it's just going to be the Blissful Souls. As Far Cry 5 had an awesome soundtrack. Yeah, like there's a lot of games that have great music, but I think where this one's really going to be over the top is that it is going to have just an amazing variety and an amazing breadth of musical styles, and just tons of awesome music from a whole bunch of artists who will be portraying in-game music personalities.
And there was a comment from Common Pass asking if there'll be lo-fi music. That's also something I'm curious about too, because that's a style I've like gotten into semi-recently.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I mean, we might learn more about that today.
Like even just like going from like the different district to district, like it would be cool to have like thematic music change as you go.
I
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine so, knowing the detail they've put into, the styles of each music now, or the styles of each district. Now, if you're listening to the radio, I don't think it'll change when you cross over into a different district. But as far as like the actual background music, I mean, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Rough Sleeper says, "I hope we find old school bars playing punk jazz."
Ooh.
Yeah, the live music scene should be interesting too.
Ah. Because I'm
Like,
just like, oh, like with all the hologram things that we've been seeing in this video from a few days ago, I'm just like, will they be playing music by like holograms or like live people or synth people? Like, what?
yeah. Funky Moyne has an interesting question about the soundtrack. Will the rights be ad vitam? Is that the word? Or will the game be disappeared from online shops because of license expiration?
Huh.
I would
I
imagine that I highly
I've
doubt
heard a
that.
rumor. I've heard a rumor that that they've set this up to be lifelong. So basically, and again, this is rumor. As far as I know, this has not been officially announced either way. But from what I heard, they approached these artists and said, "We want to hire you to write a song for us that you have unlimited licensing on, with the exception of like whenever it's like being played within the game confines of the video game." Um, so some kind of a deal like that. So the artist can do whatever they want. They can play it at concerts. They can use it in music videos and stuff like that. But they can't claim on behalf of like when it's on the video game. That is what I've heard rumored. I still don't know if this is true, because this would involve like it would involve actually like looking at big contracts. So and normally you don't find out about this stuff. I mean, normally you don't find out about this stuff until years later. Not in every scenario, but quite frequently that is the case. I know that there's a lot of smaller artists in here who were very eager to take what they could get, and so that they signed an agreement that was probably quite fortuitous for CDPR, but they also got a good paycheck out of it. So why not, right? And especially if the game goes mega viral, and your song ends up on like a top 10 list because of the game, then I mean this is even better. And I'm hoping this is what happens. I am
Mm-hmm.
hoping that, oh dear, I forgot her name. They have a celloist that's doing a song for them as well, and I am hoping beyond hope that this one particular song, amongst many others, gets significant play and racks up hundreds of millions of views on YouTube and becomes a frequent top 50, top 100 song, in multiple countries, if not the world. That's what I'm hoping, because her music is underrated, and it's not appreciated at the level that I think some other artists are, and I would love to see this become more of the norm. Um, the one thing that I'm surprised with is that they didn't have. I was hoping like Lindsey Sterling would be involved at some point, but
Yeah, that would be amazing.
so I know that they still have more songs to announce, and that's what we're kind of hoping to see today.
Mm-hmm.
Blissful Soul says, "Will I be fine playing it on PS4?" I don't see why not. I mean, yes, there was the our our educated speculation is that it was the PS4 version that was predominantly had the issue that caused the delay. They just said current gen consoles in general, but then we saw some just a couple days ago. We saw some Xbox One footage that looked just fine, and we're not even into the delay period yet. That's like after today, so I guess that's further evidence that it was the PlayStation version that may have been an issue. But I mean, I don't think you're gonna have any issues playing it on the PlayStation 4. No, Like it's gonna work. It's gonna work. I mean, it's not gonna look as great as on the PlayStation 5 or the, a higher end machine, but I'm sure it'll play just fine. They've done a marvelous job optimizing this game. I could not believe how good it looked on the Xbox One X. We see that on the screen right now. I mean, it looks amazing.
So crisp and smooth. Makes me want to hear the sounds.
Yeah. Too Tall says the main question is, did Holly change her hair color again? I don't even. Did she change her hair color? I don't even.
I was pretty sure she was blonde last time.
I know she was blonde last time. I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head how.
Her eyes are blue this time. It's more subtle.
There was a person in college that would wear like colored contacts, like realistic colored contacts. Not like crazy ones. And like second day I met her, I was like, "Oh, you're wearing colored contacts," and she's like, "How can you tell?" I'm like, "Well, because they were slightly off green yesterday. Now they're more vibrant green today." She's like, "How do you know that?" It's always funny to catch people about colored contacts. It's really funny to see their reactions.
I think they're so sneaky.
They think they're so sneaky. No. I really like the concept. I don't know why those haven't taken off more. Like, I don't know why that we don't see more people walking around with like cat eyes or cat eyes are difficult because the lenses can like move.
The rotation, yeah.
They can rotate, and so it gets really awkward looking at somebody. And this is again. I hope they have some of these options in Cyberpunk for the bio sculpting or the animal sculpting that they do. Not because I'm excited about furries, just because I'm excited to see like sci-fi space cats.
Yes.
To me, that's a cool concept, right? So,
be Luna in space.
All right, we are just.
I'm gonna move my mic a few inches closer. Is that better?
Oh, that sounds much better. That sounds much
better. Sorry about that. I was.
I
had moved it recently. I thought it was fine.
T-1 minute.
We're at just under 30 seconds away from the start of the show, so this should be good. We'll do our best to not talk over anything important, but we'll give our commentary when we can. Should be fun time. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
You don't believe in no fate. Every day digging the grave. Stepping up to what it stays. City of dreams, city of.
Hello and welcome to Night City Wire Episode 5, the show from us at CD Projekt Red, where we talk about all things Cyberpunk 2077. Now we're going to start today's episode with a new trailer that will take a closer look at Johnny Silverhand, before we go behind the scenes with Keanu Reeves and have a chat to English adaptation director Boris, who will tell us exactly what it was like to work with him. Then we'll be exploring the original score and talking about some of the radio stations you might listen to while driving around Night City. Before we take a look at the Jolly technology, which is powering facial animation in Cyberpunk, and unveil a new My Reward scheme which anyone can take part in, no matter which platform you'll be playing Cyberpunk on. We'll then wrap up today's episode with a brand new gameplay trailer. It's a busy episode, and it will be our final episode of Night City Wire before the game launches on December 10th. So, let's get going.
Let's go!
Where'd you even come from? How are we even talking? Gotta get out of here, understand? And I'll kill anyone who gets in my way.
You weren't dreaming, V. Those were memories.
You two are connected in a way I can't make head or tail of. Who? Me and who, Vic? Silverhand.
Johnny Silverhand. Real talk of the town back in my day.
He died, like, forever ago.
You need to say there's an actual terrorist in my head. Right now.
He burned down half the city just to prove he was right. And burned the other half just for fun.
What do you want from me? Destroy Arasaka. I don't even know what that means.
Do whatever it takes to stop him, defeat him, gut him.
He already tried to take over your body. You know, just for a little while.
Hear me, asshole? A bullet to the fucking brain. Get out! Just get the fuck out!
Tell me how to get rid of it.
You don't have much time left.
You're a dick, you know?
And you're a cunt. Maybe we'll fit together after all.
Sometimes we like to share things with you, and other times we like to keep secrets, and it can be worth it for that big reveal. Pretty sure nobody was expecting to see Keanu Reeves on stage at E3 2019. So let's go behind the scenes to see how Keanu Reeves brought rocker boy Johnny Silverhand to life. You could say it's breathtaking.
Cyberpunk 2077, Johnny Silverhand. I've had the opportunity to do voiceover a few times. I've worked on a cartoon. I had done some documentaries. I'd never done this much. You know you don't gotta speak out loud to talk to me. And I've processed some shit. Changed my mind. Don't want you dead anymore. You know, and got to play a character in so many kind of different ways because of different paths or threads or choices. So you almost get to play one moment, say you have a decision.
Would you take a bullet for me?
With 3 different behavioral attitudes. So that was fun. You know, Johnny's either a dick, or he's happy, or he's trying to convince.
Know why? Because you've always been a fucking pussy, Carrie.
So it's been fun, and that was kind of what I was interested in. You know, the different options that the game could play. You know, playing the same person, but with different versions of them.
Motion capture, baby. Johnny Silverhand.
So one of the first elements that I was involved in with the game was motion capture. I've done a fair bit of motion capture. I did it with in the Matrix films, so to start doing the motion capture for Johnny, it was all very familiar to me. The only difference, I think, technologically was how close they were going to real-time review. But creatively, it was very familiar in the sense of starting a library of gesture and the toolbox, let's say, for the animators to work with for the character. So you get to see Johnny as the rock star, you know, you hear about his military past, you know, and he's fighting for his survival. So he's kind of got all of these things leading into the moment of this guy. It's really a kind of an interpretation, because I think there's a Johnny Silverhand in all of us. He's got a lot of energy. He's got a good sense of humor, if not a little dark at times. He's very passionate. He cares. You know, he's kind of naive, but he's also super experienced in life. He's got certainly an appetite for life.
Oh, man! No, you're wrong.
He wants to change the world, you know? He has a cause that he wants to fight against the corpocracy.
Come on. Don't tell me you're not interested.
He's kind of looking for a different kind of freedom.
Corps have long controlled our lives, taken lots. And now they're after our souls.
At least I believed in something bigger.
At least I had a cause.
What CD Projekt Red has shared with me in the way that they talk about the game and what I've seen is that it's got a lot of freedom. There's so many different paths that you can play the game on. But it's not just quests of paths. It's like, who are you? How do you want to play the character?
If I gotta kill, I'll kill. If I need your body, I'll fucking take it.
You can go into action, you can go into mystery, you can problem solve in different ways. And where you go in this world, there's so much detail, there's so many different things that you can go off into that are really interesting and fun. There's a real drama to the game and emotional stakes to it. And then there's lighter sides to it. And of course, the music, production design, technologically, how cutting edge it is. I don't think there'll be a game that looks like this. Yeah, it's intense.
I take the driver, you get his side.
Bye-bye.
Before we get into what it was like to actually work with Keanu Reeves, was it always him that you imagined as Johnny Silverhand? Was there anybody else that you ever considered having for the role?
Yeah, Holly, it was a long, arduous, extended process to imagine what Johnny Silverhand is supposed to look like, what he's supposed to sound like, what he's supposed to act like. Everybody and their great-grandmother seemed to have an idea. And the process actually involved a lot of people. The game director, character artists, writers, marketing staff. I could go on. You know, we cast a pretty broad net initially. We considered actors. We considered enlisting actual rock stars, you know, band frontmen to play the role. At one point, we even toyed with the idea of taking and reviving a recently deceased, longtime luminary of the recording industry. Now, some might say that it was a pipe dream to assume that we could do that technologically or otherwise. Well, I'll see you that pipe dream and raise you another, because one could easily say that it was a pipe dream to assume that we could successfully pitch to and ultimately enlist Keanu Reeves to play the role.
Now, I'm sure this is on everybody's mind right now, but what was it actually like to work with Keanu Reeves? Because even he said in the video, this was like nothing he'd ever done before.
A question that I'm sure anybody who gets to work with Keanu has to answer, and I get where it comes from. Keanu is a consummate professional. When he's at work, he's at work. He's completely and utterly focused. To that work, he brings his talent, he brings his art, his technical skill, and overwhelming charm. And yes, the scale and the complexity were and are dazzling. Non-linearities, the variation in attitude, mood, emotion that are required to achieve them, they can be difficult to get your head around. And if you take all of Johnny Silverhand's bits, you know, his screen time, it's like doing the equivalent of many, many feature film roles put together. And we covered all that in a handful of mocap sessions and under 24 VO recording sessions of 4 to 6 hours each. And that took focus, it took control, it took dedication, all of which Keanu provided in heaps.
So tell us a little bit more about the character of Johnny Silverhand and why he's important to the story, but also why it's important to have him played by like such a powerful personality.
Okay, how do I do this without spoiling too much for gamers? In the broadest sense, I'd say Johnny Silverhand is a co-protagonist of the game rather than a sidekick. I mean, there are buddy bits in the game, but in the end, Johnny has an agenda and he pursues it, and V has an agenda and has to pursue that. And to get things done, V and Johnny have to work together. Some of the things they do are V's, and some of the things they do are Johnny's, and some of them are important to both of them. That bonds gamers, I think, to both characters. Both characters' agendas become equally important. Both characters' continued existence becomes equally important. For any gamer or viewer or reader, what you have to do is create that bond between them and the protagonist or protagonists. You have to make those characters understandable to them, likable to them, lovable to them. With that understanding, even when they do something not entirely admirable or say something reprehensible, you stay committed, you stay involved, you stay bonded to them. And there's no denying casting a powerful personality, somebody who exudes charm by the truckload, helps to further all that.
So Boris, can you tell us, like, what does Keanu bring to Johnny Silverhand?
What Keanu brings to Johnny Silverhand is nothing more and nothing less than Keanu. I could parse that into a string of adjectives, but I kind of think that would be borderline insulting because it wouldn't begin to do him justice. To anybody who's seen the applicable movies, Neo is Keanu, Keanu is Neo. John Wick is Keanu, Keanu is John Wick. John Constantine, Johnny Mnemonic, Jonathan Harker, Johnny Utah, they're all Keanu. And to anyone who will play Cyberpunk 2077, Johnny Silverhand will be Keanu. To my mind, at least, star power is a fact and an important factor for broad sections of the audience out there.
So can you give us more information about the process of motion capture, right? Because we saw you in the video, you know, doing some of it, but really, how does it work?
I wish I could, Holly, but I'm really no mocap expert, and I can basically tell you what the day looked like, what the process looked like to me. To me, it was a fine day in LA, and I put on a wonky-looking bodysuit with globules all over it, and I put on the head cam, and then we proceeded to block and then play out scenes between V and Johnny, and we did it over and over and over again. As we did that, I must have poked Johnny in the chest hundreds of times, and I must have yelled "fuck off" at Johnny 35 times, you know. Well, I never expected to be doing any of that. No, I never imagined I'd be doing any of that.
Well, Boris, thank you so much for joining us. Your voice in the studio is quite iconic. So whenever I talk to you, I feel like I'm in a trailer. It's amazing.
It's not all that. It's not all that, Holly. Thank you.
Well,
oh yeah, he is the guy that does the
Soviet-era
narration,
synthesizers to body heat radio. It's time to explore the original score and just some of the radio stations you'll be listening to when you're driving around Night City.
Oh, the radio stations. Okay, gotcha.
Score is the main vessel of emotions in both movies and video games, and Cyberpunk 2077 is no different.
It actually took us a long time to find the right color of the music.
Getting that sound together is almost as important as the actual look of the game itself, because the music is really helping you feel this emotional connection to the game.
Hey, there's that bassist I was talking about.
So one of the main ideas was to take the cyberpunk genre out of the 80s and give it a 90s flair. We took elements from rave, IDM, industrial, and make them fit our narrative purposes.
We've decided that close to the 100% of our music would be purely electronic.
That's why we tried to stick to analog synths as much as possible, so it's got a warmth to it.
I'm super proud of the team we've managed to gather for this project.
For me, it was basically my own personal aesthetic matching the aesthetic of the game. When I read the brief, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I can be myself. I can make music, and it come from an honest place.
I love the fact that the music in this game is so varied. So we have some tracks that are super dirty, super heavy, and then we have some tracks that are very beautiful and ambient. I'm using all kinds of different effects. So it's been great to be able to experiment with the sound and the style.
It's my first time actually doing any drum tracking for a video game. It's been really exciting. It's been a lot of fun.
It's all about making you feel like a perfect killing machine, because that's what you are basically.
Well, I can do that all day long. So you'll just have to tell me what you like, and what you don't like.
Cool. Okay. It's not going to sound like one thing, depending on what part of the city you're in.
We basically scored every quest pretty much with custom assets created specifically for that quest.
We ended up having over 7.5 hours of music in Cyberpunk.
Working on Cyberpunk has just been insane. I can seriously say that I've never worked with such a bunch of mad people in my life, and mad brilliant.
The gear that we use comes out of boutique shops, or they are vintage synthesizers like this Polyvox.
I really hope all this effort put into creating this score pays off with satisfying and enjoyable listening and gaming experience.
Hello, Night City. What's shaking, Night City? Good morning, Night City! Your man, Stan here. Ooh, I love this town. Love it like you might love a mother who popped you out on the steps of an orphanage once and now stops you to ask if you got a smoke for her. And now, a shout out to all the lowlifes over at the Atlantis. Ladies and gents, here's that all-time classic in Night City.
I swallow all my drugs so the penis unplugs when the laws are
Soundtrack is one of the key elements we use to build believable worlds. We've invited artists from around the world, incredible talents, incredible musicians, to write and produce songs just for us for this project.
The soundtrack for Cyberpunk is insane. So the soundtrack being all the songs that they've got going on, whether it's on the radio or on the background, all these just amazing bands.
We've got over 150 custom genre-bending tracks, all waiting for you to discover them by yourselves.
You know, the reason I wanted to be a part of Cyberpunk is...
Wow, that is an
basically, I know The Witcher
amount
is
of songs.
super sick, and then I actually got to play a preview of the game, which was fucking incredible.
I've always wanted to do something connected to a video game, so I was pretty excited when this came in, and it was like an instant yes.
I was kind of imagining what it would be like being a character in that game. The person that's a musician in this world and this time has grew up in that space.
This isn't just some fun shit. There's also an intellectual and spiritual history to this world that's been constructed for you, you know?
We want to provide you with the soundtrack to fucking shit up. Like, how can you not want to be a part of that?
For those of you who
Oh my
can't
God, I
wait
was
to
screaming
hear more
inside.
from our composers, we're going to be releasing a special 6-track Cyberpunk 2077 EP featuring tracks from the game's original score onto streaming services for you to enjoy for free, and they'll be live at the end of this episode, so you can give them a listen later. In addition, if you're planning on live streaming Cyberpunk, or if you just want to make videos, we want to introduce you to a new mode that will allow you to disable certain copyrighted tracks. We know that for content creators, licensed music
that is
can
fantastic.
sometimes be problematic.
Yes.
So with this new mode, you'll be able to disable a small number of selected tracks which could cause some issues, replacing them with a different song, helping to avoid any problems. If you're going to be live streaming from console, this will start automatically, but you can toggle it on and off in the options as needed. And for PC players, you'll be able to turn it on and off in the game options. Don't forget, as with all episodes of Night City Wire, if you're tuning in late or if you just want to watch anything again, we will be uploading everything to our channels soon. Now from Polish to Chinese. When Cyberpunk launches, it will have VO in 10 different languages. So we're going to take a closer look at the Jolly technology, which is ensuring each and every one is as authentic as possible.
So hi, my name is Sarah Watling. I am the CEO of Jolly Research in Toronto, Ontario. In this video, we're going to show you a little bit about Jolly the software and Jolly in action within the world of Cyberpunk 2077.
Maintenant, tu vas répondre à mes questions honnêtement, sans détour.
Rayfield's mine. Скажи заплатить 2 раза, заплатишь 2 раза.
Jolly is a suite of tools and a suite of services that result in what we think is the coolest and best and highest quality facial performance on characters.
Oh, is that supposed to sound familiar?
It's automatically generated on a face based on audio dialogue, audio speech from a voice actor.
Slow, deep breaths. Your cortisol and adrenaline spiked, but the soft activated your hormone blockers. Nothing happened. You're alive and well.
What Jolly tries to do is it tries to get to the root of what is being expressed in the vocal performance and put that on a 3D character.
That's Rogue. Best fixer in all of Night City.
There is just an incredible amount of performance in this game.
Sure.
A procedural solution allows you to animate over and over and over again at tremendous scale. Jolly is what powers every single character in the game of Cyberpunk 2077 in all of the languages that the game has been localized for.
Ahora escúchame bien. Este mierdas de Anthony Gilchrist. ¿Es tu contacto? Hat Infos zum Konvoi durchsickern lassen?
All you're doing is changing an attribute. For example, speech
Wow,
style.
she's great
You
in
want
all
your
the
character
languages.
to shout instead of mumble. Instead of issuing a set of commands that redo the animation, instead you click an attribute going from, in this case, mumble to shout.
But you walk. You bleed, but you walk. You bleed, but you walk. You breathe.
If the lip sync is right, you don't notice. If the faces match and match the performance, you don't notice because you're too busy paying attention to how awesome the game is, how much you care about these characters, what you're gonna do, and that's what we want. That to me is that's the sizzle.
Don't you know you owe the sheriff a word when you pay his town a visit? To tell him what's brought you here. Maybe even over a cup of coffee.
Now we're excited to reveal digital and in-game rewards for Cyberpunk 2077. It's our way of saying thank you for your support. Now, every copy of the game comes with digital downloadable goodies such as the art book, the original score, and a digital comic, all from the Cyberpunk universe. But there's more. You can also claim in-game items for Cyberpunk 2077. For example, you could be rocking the Wolf School jacket for simply connecting the game to your GOG account. And if you have other CD Projekt Red games, such as The Witcher or Gwent, you can get even more. And it works both ways. If you connect the game to your GOG account, you can also unlock special in-game items for Gwent, the Witcher card game, such as the samurai-inspired card and coin back, and the breathtaking title. Now, this new My Reward program is for everybody. No matter which platform you're playing Cyberpunk on, you'll be able to get your digital goodies and in-game items. Now, this is just the beginning, and there'll be more items coming in the future, and we'll have more information on My Rewards soon.
Super smart move.
As always, don't forget that if you've missed anything or if you just want to watch again, we will be uploading everything to our channels soon. So before we take a look at that new gameplay trailer, we just want to reveal that a number of games media from all over the world have been playing Cyberpunk 2077, and you'll be able to read their latest impressions when this episode of Night City Wire finishes, so you can go and check them out. So now, let's wrap up this episode and take a look at that brand new gameplay trailer.
They got a lock on us. Engine's been hit.
Get us out of here.
I'm losing control.
At CD Projekt Red, we dedicate ourselves to telling immersive stories. Yet with every new project, we set out to make our games bigger, more complex, deeply engaging.
Come on, V. Let's get you home.
Cyberpunk 2077 marries exploration of a vast open world with kinetic combat, story-changing player choices, and robust
I love all the
character
variety in the
development,
scenes they've
all
just
to
shown,
bring
like,
you
right
into
there.
our vision of the dark future.
You ever feel like the city doesn't give you a choice? You either burn alive in it, or you never existed at all.
The year is 2077. An economic crisis culminating in nuclear conflict has left America in pieces. With most of the continent degenerating into lawless war zones, people from all over have converged on the already overcrowded Night City, one of the world's last great megalopolises. A hub amassing the best in resources and know-how, and home to manufacturers of cutting-edge technologies, Night City continues to offer the promise of a civilized future.
What?
No, this isn't happening.
Oh, but it is.
But in the city streets, a merciless struggle for power rages. Gangs, corporate agents, hustlers, religious cultists, politicians, and all manner of criminals strive to outplay one another. Ordinary people get caught in the crossfire.
Looking for justice. In Night City, I seek revenge. Much more feasible here.
In this world, consumed by never-ending conflict, sometimes only an outsider will get the job done.
Elizabeth tells me you have answers for us. I'm all ears.
And that's you, an urban mercenary, a cyber-enhanced gun for hire.
You seem to understand each other. Take this, too.
As a mercenary, you swear no allegiance. You've chosen the outlaw life and trust that your abilities will carry you up Night City's ruthless, underground social ladder.
Heart of Night City. That's it right there.
To thrive as a merc, you need the right combination of gear, skills, and reputation.
Dex had a load to say about you. I hope he wasn't overselling.
With the money you earn, you can turn yourself into a living weapon, buying guns and enhancements in the hundreds. As you roam the city streets, you gain the experience you need to upgrade abilities and acquire perks. Combine the right skills and gear to create a gunslinger with inhuman reflexes. A stealthy netrunner with command of all surrounding tech. Or practically anyone in between. In Cyberpunk 2077, you steal a prototype biochip that can set you up for life.
Being filthy rich.
When its sealed container is ruptured, the only way to prevent the biochip from failing is to slot it into your head. It turns out it contains the digitized soul of Johnny Silverhand, a dead rocker boy with violence on his mind.
You mean to say there's an actual terrorist in my head, right now?
He's out for revenge. Aims to bring down the megacorp that made the chip.
Do whatever it takes to stop him, defeat him, gut him.
What is in your head can shift the balance of power in Night City. The high and mighty will do anything to lay their hands on it.
Told you I'd end you someday.
The choices you make will
Smasher
shape
coming
your
to
story
smash.
and determine how events
Yes.
unfold.
V, you gotta take him down.
smashing.
That's why we're here.
But not everything in Night City is a matter of life and death. Sometimes it's about style, choosing your look, your ride, your
I want to go to the club
who's
with
at your
Jackie.
side. Choosing how you
Right.
spend your dirty
So
money.
bad.
On the roller coaster. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yes!
We have a roller coaster, guys.
Yes!
Lady Reaver, you got here just in
Welcome to
time.
the next generation
Just in
of
time,
open
lady.
world adventure. Immerse yourself in Cyberpunk 2077.
That's okay, Noshino. Smash on the dance floor. Sick beats.
I return to Yankee Land.
Oh my god,
to
that's...
bring my daughter.
Screw Borat. Okay.
Alright, so much to dig down on. Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's so much. So right off the top, we have to talk about this nuke. We have to talk about the fact that we've been correct on this a long time. Especially Mad Queen on this, and it's too bad that she wasn't streaming today. But 100% accurate on the we are playing the raid on Arasaka Tower. How much of that, how much of it is going to be included, we don't know yet. It seems to indicate there were slices of memories. It seemed to indicate that maybe it was maybe it's slices, maybe it's full context, maybe it's something in between. But yeah, we're going to throw down with Adam Smasher in the 2020 universe. We're going to, as Johnny, and then we're going to have a couple other scenes with him there. It looked like the concert was in for sure, and yeah. So from there, we don't really know how much of that the 2020 world we're going to see. I've been saying for a while, I suspect that it will literally only be the tower, Arasaka Tower, the kind of the play or the what the good lord, I just said this word. We're gonna have the concert in front, and then we're going to play through the raiding into the tower itself, and that'll be pretty much all of the 2020 content that we're going to see. So we're not going to have two cities to drive through, right? We're just going to have, I think, that first little bit there. We see the concert, then we can probably guesstimate that they're going to raid it from there. And you go in, you get your hands on the nuke. Obviously, you see it in the footage. They showed it off a few times. I think they showed it off 3 times. That the nuke is in the game, and the nuke is there. And what they're going to be doing with the nuke and what ends up happening with that, I think we've been calling this right for ages. I think that's going to have a lot to do with where the world is right now. I think that is quite possibly an end game bit. So exactly how, we don't know, but it's been speculated on for a while. No spoilers, just speculation here. We're starting to feel that kind of like perspective on it. So yeah, it's super interesting. So
2077.
and then yeah, the you putting the thing into your head, that was kind of like,
that makes so much sense now why he was so holographic looking.
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't aware of that aspect, hey Moon?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. I do have I have the video we just watched up on the screen now. By the way, I'll just let it play through. So we're not watching the previous one anymore. The one from today is now playing on the screen.
Awesome. So yeah, we have a lot to check into here. There's a lot of characters, a lot of personalities. There were a couple of faces that I saw throughout the video kind of pop up in more than one spot. We think this is, I think there's a couple of them that are Johnny's old bandmates. There's 1 or 2 of them that survived a little bit longer, or they're. And I think what we're going to see is we're going to see some of the people in the raid on Arasaka Tower, and then we're going to see some of those people. Like one person in particular, we're probably going to see them again in the 2077 time period. So yeah, this is super interesting. We're also seeing that Arasaka is not necessarily the same company that it was, or that there's some inner politics going on there. So this is super interesting. This means a lot for the timeline for what we can potentially see. So amazing. We've got
I was really blown away by the Jolly lip syncing there, because when I was looking at the screen when they were showing the example of like running the vocals through like whispering and like talking normally, it looked like they had like a phonetics bar, which reminded me of those writing machines that they use for court reporters, where they type in phonetics rather than in letters. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so cool.
Yeah, right. Because it's the way that they can set the mouth movement easier, and that's super interesting that is built into the system from the ground up. So very
yeah, it's very cool technology. I don't think we've seen anything quite like that in games before. Like I don't think we've seen anything quite that good. And it's more than just the lip syncing. It's again those head movements, the subtle face movements, the conveying of emotions, the change when it when a character's yelling, it actually affects the shape of the mouth.
That was an extra bit of detail I didn't expect.
Yeah, I just posted in the chat. We posted up the link to the songs that CDPR just posted. That's the EP track list that they just popped out today. We're gonna have to review that. It's probably definitely very much copyrighted music. And that brings us to the next conversation: is that these guys actually care about streamers, and they want to make sure that when you're doing videos and when you're doing content, that you're not triggering those
yeah
very nasty those very nasty takedowns for just posting 10 seconds of a song, in a clip. So the fact that they've got those able to be shut off, that is so wonderful. And again, it's that music is kind of weird, right? This isn't, they clearly tried very hard to make sure almost all of their music is copyright, isn't going to have those issues, but clearly some of them, due to certain maybe certain rules or laws based in the country that you're in, you're going to run into those problems. So they've made it easier for you to be able to do this without running into those issues and without trying to like figure out, well, where was the problem, right? So we're so very happy with that. This means that we're probably going to be able to stream it here on YouTube instead of on Twitch with a lot more ease. So yes, I'm really happy about that. Ash, you must be happy about that.
Well, I mean, it's fantastic that they're putting that much thought into it. Yes, of course, it's a pain to deal with music getting flagged, and like that happened all the time with Fallout 4. It was a real pain.
I remember you were complaining about a couple of the things where like you would upload the video to like a pre-system so that you could scan it for any music issues ahead of time. You do it, you get this like, a list of things back, you'd fix it, you'd run it again, you'd get more, then you'd run it again, and you'd get more, and then when you finally had it and it didn't have anything, you post the video live, and what happens immediately? Always, oh, there's a copyrighted music thing in here.
It's gotten better. Like recently it catches things more immediately, but there was a time there where it would like it would catch some of them, and then you'd re-upload and it's like, oh wait, we found another one. It's like, oh thanks. Right. But I mean, it has gotten better, but regardless, it is. I mean, it's going to be great for content creators, to not have to worry about those music issues. And just remembering back to Fallout 4, it was always those radios. It was because like the music that like the background score, none of that was flagged on YouTube or anything like that. It was whenever, like, if you turned on your Pip-Boy radio, those old songs that they licensed, that's where that's where the issues were. So you'd leave that off, but then walking around the world, sometimes there's radios on. So
that's right.
Yeah. So you'd be at like a key point in the mission, and then bongo bongo bongo, I don't want to leave the Congo is playing in the background, and that just farks up your entire video.
And the Island girl the Islington girl says, for non-English speakers, that Jolly would be so good for their immersion too, because it adapts to the language. Wholeheartedly agree.
Yes, so you don't feel like you're watching a Godzilla movie.
Yeah, because like whenever I start to notice that the lip syncing is like slightly off, it bothers me for like the rest of the thing that I'm watching. But like watching like just how subtly smooth that like just this is gonna be fantastic.
Oh, bad like even if it's like the lip syncing is right, but it's just off by half a second, like, oh man, that grates on me so much.
Feel that.
Yeah. All right, we had some comments during the stream there. That was, was some comments that were posted that we wanted to read. So from Too Tall 12s says, I wonder if they've just hinted at several of the multiple endings. One where V and Johnny coexist, one where V removes Johnny, etc. Because they were talking about the different... At one point he was talking about the different types of interactions that the player can have with Johnny. I mean, maybe, although that seems like something... Like, they've been pretty careful about not letting spoilers get out. So, I mean, maybe it does make sense that, like, those do seem like some natural some natural endpoints like along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you deal with Johnny in the end? How does it all flesh
resolve
out?
itself?
Yeah.
What we've
Where does it all lead to?
discovered is that Johnny's like system or soul or what, however you want to describe it. His digital ghost has been embedded in your system. It's not just about pulling it out. And like we're starting to see. I think that the potential of trying to remove Johnny from your system will either kill you or like, will so kill you. So you're kind of stuck with him, and he's kind of stuck with you, and you two are fighting for control. So this is a big issue. This is a big deal, and this is going to make this far more interesting, I think, to play the female V than to play the male V, because the male V and Johnny seem fairly similar on a lot of perspectives. Like, they're both like, in each other's face all the time, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Ash, just a quick heads up here. There was a naked butt in the video. So
Yeah, just very. There was.
You're probably gonna have to cut that out.
Honestly, it was like plumber butt crack.
It was like two. No, I think it was the jumping into the water thing.
Well, yes, it was, but like it was like it didn't show. It wasn't full on. So
yeah, well, YouTube hates butts. Like,
I don't know.
Goodness.
Oh no, booty.
I mean, it should. I don't know if it's
the next time I have a plumber over here and he's working on the sink, I'm gonna walk over to him and inform him that he has now been demonetized, and that unfortunately he's not gonna get paid because because that there was 3 seconds where visible butt crackage could be seen. So therefore, that is unacceptable, sir.
Yeah, no, I know.
You are causing the harm to the future generations, sir.
Well, anyway, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I'd have to dig through to find that one clip. 2 seconds in like a 2-hour stream. So, Too Tall 12 says, "Oh, so what Cyb is saying, I pull out the chip, then Johnny and V can be stuck together in the net, and we can both find and romance Alt Cunningham." Yeah, there you go. There's the logical conclusion of that.
At the same time.
Okay. Moving on. Moving on. Scadril says, "Finally, I got what I was waiting for. The inventory screen."
Yes, I noticed that too. Yep. It looks pretty fantastic just with the layout. It looks really clear, and I read somewhere earlier in the chat that it's been revamped.
All right, and Moontag, do you want to read some of those other comments?
Sure. So Funky Moin has a question. Are there some quest line / relation with Silverhand that are dependent on your character's sex? I would think so.
Possibly. I would imagine that we're still expecting to get this. We really still are expecting to get this situation where you're doing some things. Maybe you're shooting people, or maybe you're haggling for price. Maybe you're trying to take a job or a mission or something like that, or maybe you're doing the sideways Louisiana shuffle, and Johnny's just gonna lean over and go, "Yeah, you're doing this all wrong, man. You're doing this all wrong. You want me to take over for you? I can take over for you, because you're just really messing this up right now. You should be asking for at least double, or you should be at least giving double, or taking double." And he's gonna throw his unsolicited advice in there, and you're gonna be like, come on man, I need this job, I need this mission, or need this other thing. Shut up, man. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. It's real interesting. I am really stretching the verbiage today.
and just like, well, look at how much fun
Game
he's
notes.
having captured
Game
things.
notes. Oh, good lord. Yes, we know it's free. We know it's free, man.
Fritz Mr. Man says, since Johnny got a chip on his shoulder about the corpos, if you got full corpo while he's in your head, will he just auto-kill you? That's a very good question.
Well, it will be. I imagine it'll be really interesting. Obviously, like, well, that would mean if you start as a corpo.
Yeah, this is going to be really.
How is that going to affect you?
This is going to be super interesting, right?
Yeah.
Atomic Stew in the chat. Going to be interesting to see Johnny's reaction to V and Corporal Life Path. 100%. Like this is what I've been waiting for, and I think this is why I'm going to go Corpo now.
Yeah.
Just to really see this aspect, but I mean this also really opens up the fact that this game you can now play this 3 times for sure, at the very least.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If not 6, if not even more.
Yeah, there's just so many paths. It's like this is like a really, really complex, like, choose your own adventure. This is wonderful. Like, I love this in books. I love seeing this in like a game where I can like really immerse myself. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah.
And we also have mechs now. This is something that we had known for a while was coming. Big, giant boss mechs. Several of them from the Corps. This is the corporate security that is going to, be very, very difficult to fight against. So this is super interesting. Again, I've been waiting for this kind of like showcase for a while. We didn't get too much of it. We got a couple of scenes here and there, brief seconds, but we are going to have very interesting boss fights with some of these guys. And some of these guys they look huge and awesome. So, yeah.
Scadril says the mech animations are straight up from RoboCop. I love it.
Right.
Absolutely.
And
they did look really that one shot of the mech. It did look the animation looked really jerky. I was like, is that intentional? Because yeah, it looked really weird. But yeah.
There's another scene in the show or in the trailer that it was a really small, brief one. There's a dude sitting on a couch, and he looks like he's kind of on the poor side, and he's sitting on a couch in this late night, night after night. It's like some kind of like late night talk show that they have in Cyberpunk, and this guy is sitting on this couch, and he doesn't have arms, and the host of the show is like, is like, we have a big surprise for you. And then this model comes out wielding this, like, carrying this, the gorilla arms attachments.
Yes.
And he's getting all excited, and everybody's like, oh my God. It's like, you get gorilla arms, and you get gorilla arms, and you get gorilla arms. And it's hilarious that they've added so much depth in here. We've got, like, from the radio shows to the TV shows, and we know that there's a number of TV shows that we're going to be seeing, so like huge ones. So this is going to be really cool. There's probably hours and hours of footage of the TV shows, and you're going to be able to see it. This also brings up that we might see a lot of mods just rolling around on like shows and TVs and stuff to watch inside the world. So really cool, really exciting. There's another scene where you're in a car and another car pulls up to you, and it looks like they're gonna like, try to like run you guys off the road or do a drive-by shooting, or they're just threatening because you cut them off or something like that. And I don't think it's gonna end well for that car. I'm just going out on a limb here. I don't think that's gonna end very well for them. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have confirmation that the world is very, very much in turmoil right now, and that there's only a few of these mega cities that are highly like functioning at the moment, and that there's lots of like the space between mega cities is not safe. It is very dangerous, and it's very insane. So
yeah, seems like it'd be like Fallout basically between the cities. just a wasteland with people scraping by, lots of raiders, that kind of thing. But yeah. Yeah, well, I'm curious to see how far out you can go. Might just,
no kidding.
Might just get in a car and drive and see, like, see how far away from Night City can I get? Well, all right. Well, lots to go through here. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Fritz asks, question for all of you. What are you most looking forward to with Cyberpunk 2077? And is there anything you're worried about? Like, I'm honestly looking forward to just exploring the whole city in general and just like seeing all the different music and all the different characters and dialogue and just like really explore the environment.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
I think the world is going to be massively immersive and just a great place to hang out.
So,
I just feel overwhelmed by how big it is.
So so we've got Cyberware. We've got the Cyberware Inventory screen. We appear to have, and I'm just trying to confirm this here. We have a lot of slots, and this is something that I was worried about. I was worried that we might be getting a system in which we wouldn't have that many slots, right? And I was worried that we would not be getting what I was hoping for us to get, where there's lots of options with customizing your character and your rig, basically. And it's one of these things where it's like they show it for a single frame, and I am trying to get the single frame, and this is very, very, very annoying. So let's see if I'm going to slow this down to 25, just so that I can read this out. Okay, here we go. So we have one hookup. We have one. This is Cyberware only. So this is the internal systems. Frontal cortex, you have space for 3 mods. Ocular systems, you have space for 1 mod, which is kind of weird because I thought you had 2 eyes. I know it's probably double. Circulatory system, you have space for 3 mods. Immune system, you have a space for 2 mods. Nervous system, 2 mods. Ingementally, I cannot read that word. I'm pretty sure this means the arms.
If you want to fire me a screenshot, I'll put it up on the screen here.
I still haven't been able to get everything on the right side.
Okay.
You've got an operating system slot. You have 2 slots for the skeletal system, and then looks like we've got 3 more rows. I'm trying to see how many mod slot. Okay, there we go. You have 1 slot. Here. I'm going to clip this up right away here. You've got.
Brenston says this game has a lot of slots confirmed.
Yeah,
and schedule
both body and the internal system, which is super awesome. This is exactly what we were hoping for. Dang, I clipped the thing here. 1 second here.
Schedule send me the screenshot. I'll have it up in just a sec. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and Fritz Musterman says, I'm worried about not being able to smash the Smasher as a romance option or being able to bring Judy Alvarez into the mix. I agree with that. Like, even if he may not have the bits to smash, like, Adam Smasher still has a lot to offer.
No, Schedule, that's not the... I'm trying to get the one where it's the full display here. There's nothing new to see, but I do want to showcase. So we can showcase the 2. But here's the one that I've got, and then Schedule's got this one here.
And there's a comment from Olik Boss. I wonder if there's a possibility that V can eventually arrange an android body for Johnny to function from. that's actually a good question. Like, when you put in the slot, like, does that mean he's just like he's stuck, embedded, or is this like is that an option further in the future to try to build him something?
Well, there's probably an option to separate him from you, but it's probably extremely expensive and probably really hard to get. And it's probably a lot easier for people to just pull the chip and wipe you than it is for that. So you're probably fighting for to not have that done to you, to destroy, the chip and
And
or to destroy yourself in them attempting to recover the chip. So probably. All right. So this image here, do you got this image?
I've got the image is up now.
Okay. So this is where we see, Dr. Chrome, some kind of store here where you've got all of these different chips for your body. So we've got, again, like the arms, legs, and hands. We've got one of those each. In the down on the bottom left, we have what appears to be like shoulder system. Then we've got the skeletal system. You got two mods there: the operating system. You got the nervous system, immune system, circulatory system 2, 2, and 3, and then the frontal cortex and the ocular system. Now we know that you have to have the hands update. We don't know if that includes the arms, but we know that you do get the modification on your hands. So you have the grip thing, so you can do some gunplay stuff, and then we know that you get the ocular system.
Huh? I thought it was only the ocular that was 100% required.
I'm pretty sure the hands one, but the hands one is not necessarily like the first hands one you get. I don't think it's replacing your entire hand. It's just modifying your palm, that palm grip that we see, because we've seen that in most of the footage. It could be that you don't have to do that one. We don't really know, but we don't know for sure yet. But we know that the ocular system that's scripted into the game. You have to get that.
Yeah. Well, that's where your HUD comes from. That's that's everything.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, and that's everything within the game. Now, will modders be able to mod that out? Maybe, but they don't necessarily need to. I think, because I think that you're in a Cyberpunk game, it's okay to play with at least one Cyberpunk augmentation. But we'll see.
Well, it'd be interesting. I mean, to playing it without the HUD would be an interesting challenge. If you decided to go like role play as someone who wants no augmentations, that'd be interesting.
So yeah, there's a lot to grow here. I like this. I like the fact that we're getting so much in the way of direct itemization. I like more options. The more options you have, the more you can finally tune your character. Yeah, so it's good. So now in a few seconds later, you do see them scroll over top of the operating system, and allows you to see that there are several like things called device hacks, and a couple other things. You get base RAM. Ooh, yay! Base RAM, buffer size, slots, all that kind of stuff. So this is kind of cool. We're gonna be seeing a lot of this stuff in depth here. We can see that there's a system where there's gray items, there's white items, there's green items, there's blue items, there's purple items, and then there's legendary items. We know that that's all in the game, so we have that regular like gear crawl. This is really exciting for the multiplayer. The amount of stuff that we're going to be able to do in the multiplayer is truly fascinating. I think we're going to be seeing some amazing stuff here. So it's super exciting. This is so exciting to see where this stuff is going here. And yeah, okay. So yeah, oh man, this is so deep here. I wish we got just a little bit more, but oh man,
it's quite a lot too, though.
Yeah,
man,
there is a lot now under the character builds. for weapons, for just weapons, you got rifles, handguns, blades. I suspect that we're going to be seeing a little bit more of that, maybe. I suspect that we'll have a few more weapons. And I don't want autoplay on. No, thank you. Stupid YouTube. All right. So yeah, handguns, blades, rifles, reflexes, tech ability, body, interface, cool. So that's all normal. Yeah, loving this. I'll try and pull out anything that looks particularly interesting. So the blades, the handguns, there is so many options here for each of those. The rifles, the handguns, they all have these really deep paths, and again, it's based in the spiderweb thing. I hate to say it, but yay, we called this like 2 years ago. It's great. I'm so happy. So yes, spot on. I love it. I love the like. If you pause here, I'm gonna send you another clip here.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you have some.
We've got a great clip here of the blades here. I think this is the most important one, so I'm going to save this for you. And of course, I hit you instead of hitting save. That's great. I love doing that.
Fritz Musterman says, but seriously, kind of bummed they won't have VTOLs or Aerodynes flyable. But hopefully a mod or CP2099 will have it as an option. And where was that Mr. Stud's cyberware slot? That was also my question. I was looking there. There's an early comment pen saying, so the left side are passive buffs and the right side are abilities. And I was like, where is that Mr. Stud slot?
I think that's going to be. I think that's going to be a cosmetical change only. I don't know if you upgrading to the Mr. Stud 5000 with rotatable piston accessory is going to increase your combat ability. I mean, we all know that it increases your combat ability, but I don't know if they want to put that down as increasing your combat ability. I don't know about that, guys. Yeah. So, sorry, I sent this to the wrong person. Ash, sorry, I sent that to the wrong person.
And Rough Sleeper says, what did you think of the melee? Seems solid to me. I also agree. I was very excited when I saw the Mantis arms going up over there, and like really like between the Mantis arms and like the Heat Katana, like those are two of the weapons I'm like looking forward to the most.
I think their melee combat is going to be acceptable. I don't think it's going to be stellar. I think it might be good, but I don't think it's going to be stellar. I don't think it's going to be bad, and I don't think it's going to be mediocre. I think it's going to be mid-range to like mid-range plus. And again, this just revolves down to the fact that you know it, I know it, we all know it. In 3D first-person games, when you are carrying a melee weapon and you run into a wall, same thing when you're carrying a long-barreled sniper rifle. Physics doesn't really exist in the same way, and because of that fact, there's nothing you can do to really increase that physics. Like, there's not much you can do to change that. Unfortunately, that's just the state of FPS games, and it's why I'm always a fan of giving of progression and evolution within this category. But the simple fact of the matter is that you're not getting the best system. You're really not what you could get, not what would be, potentially the best, not that kind of stuff. You just don't get some of that in that same way. It's not to say that it's not good. It's just to say that you can make a really good masterpiece there with that. But if you're talking about reality, like if you're talking about pushing things further up and further out, unfortunately, if you're keeping this as is, it's just not going to be the end all be all when you compare it with something that has actual 3-dimensional physicality to it, and that you only really get. I mean, you really only get that in some of the fighting games like Soul Calibur. Is when you get in that extremely visceral stuff. You don't even get that in like third person games where the camera's like over the shoulder. You don't always get that there. It's usually like in those 3-dimensional like arena fighters. That's where you're getting that extra step, that extra oomph. And so, unfortunately, there is a level at which that's not quite necessarily correct. So, anyways,
I don't think that's a first person, third person thing. I think it's just it's like games are often they're based on hitboxes and areas of damage. You swipe a sword. It's not necessarily it's not like calculating the position of the sword at every frame and detecting a collision, because that would be very resource intensive. I mean, maybe we'll get to the point where they're doing that.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's like, okay, if there's an enemy within this arc, within this span of frames, then it counts as damage, basically. That's just kind of how games work. But I mean, I think the first person melee is getting better and better. And quite
like
frankly, like in Dishonored, and especially in Dishonored 2, it was pretty good. And then even in Ghost Runner, which has, I mean, the combat mechanics are very simple in that game, but when you're up against a wall, it doesn't feel like your sword is going through a wall. And if you swing your sword at a wall, it actually collides and makes a sound. So like they're improving those. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to derail into this. It's looking good and it's looking better. It's not the best that I think it could be, but let's just leave it at that.
Well, sure. Like, I don't think it's going to be.
Again,
I don't even.
RPG first.
Exactly. I don't think it's going to be even as good as Dishonored necessarily, but the melee mechanics do look decent for sure.
So, looking here at the blades, we can see that they have a very, very wide net of abilities here, and we don't get too many like names on this kind of stuff, but it does look pretty darn cool. We can see that we get a skill progression, and it's kind of weird that it's exactly at 0 to 500 or 0%, even though they have like several points put in. So that is kind of weird. I suspect that we're looking at. I'm not sure what's going on there. Could be that every time you level up, it just restarts back at 0%. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, we see that they have lots and lots of benefits here. Look at this image on the blades one on the very right hand side. It's got a picture of a dude licking the blade that's clearly been like bloodied.
Yeah,
I'm really curious. I want to know what is that that unlock? What is that skill unlock? I'm curious. That's gonna be
a
interesting.
special move.
Mm-hmm.
It's all by itself too, so I'm just like, oh, do we just get that no matter which one of the other ones you choose? Because like the other ones, there's 3 different colors, but then that one's just by itself, grayed out. Oh.
Yeah, so there's some really cool blade work abilities in here. It seems that this like there's the claw things over on the left side, and then there's a lot of things that are showcasing that's like clearly using a katana. There's some like slicing people in half stuff. There's some slicing heads in half. There's some other cool stuff. It's looking pretty awesome. Yeah. And then under rifles, we've got some interesting stuff. Do you want to switch to the rifles there? I'm not sure where you're at.
Oh, I can, yeah. Did you send me an image?
Yeah, I sent you 3. Did you get all 3 of them?
Oh, I saw. Okay, one sec.
Rough Sleeper says, those icons are wonderful. I need to pick up some dice to. I agree, like just the detail in it. It's pretty amazing. And Fritz Musterman says, imagine if the death screen is Maximum Mike standing over your body as a detective finding you at the scene. Oof, meta. Yeah, that's quite the imagery there. Aye. Oh, and Doreen Gray says, we got to hear Adam Smasher speak. I'm happy. Yes, very much. It was pretty much how I was like imagining it would sound too. So I'm like, ooh, chills.
So you get the images now? I sent them to the.
I've got them. I'm just getting them. Them put into the software here.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we've got some really, really interesting stuff. We haven't seen crafting yet. That hasn't been shown off, but we do know that it's there because now we definitely have that icon up at the top right corner in this particular screen that identifies crafting. And we know that there's been a bunch of achievements connected to crafting. Again, nothing spoilery, just things like, you've crafted an epic weapon and stuff like that. So, yeah.
There's your rifles, by the way. They're on the screen. And I've also
There we go.
got
Ooh.
the handguns. Whenever you need them, I can put them up.
All right, so rifles, we can see that there's a lot of there's a lot of options in here. You've got bullseye. This is the one that they've highlighted here. Increases rifle damage while aiming by 10%. This is pretty cool. This is pretty RPG-ish. This means that I think we will have. I need to be very careful here. Please listen to the whole thing. This confirms that we will have bullet sponginess in the game. But I believe that bullet sponginess will only exist where you're not using the correct weapon. I remember watching a couple of videos on some games in the past where people were complaining about bullet sponginess. And there was this one trait and one ability where it would reduce the damage that you did with other weapons, but it would increase the damage that you did with this particular chosen weapon. And one of these YouTubers that don't have a lot of scruples, ethics, or intelligence then so they took that trait, then they took out a kind of this really crap weapon, and then they went this really terrible SMG, showcased a different SMG, and oh, look at this legendary SMG, now watch what happens, and he runs up using the other SMG now, and you could clearly see the models were different, and he shoots a guy in the head with like 2 whole clips before the guy dies, the NPC dies. And it's like, that's bullet sponginess because you're using the wrong weapon that you're not spec'd into, and you currently have a lower damage threshold, and you're also using a weapon that does significantly less damage compared to the weapon that you readily have available to yourself that does a lot more damage. So congratulations, you're lying to people about the bullet sponginess of the thing. So stuff like that, I think we don't have to really worry about this stuff. I really don't think we have to worry about this stuff, because if you're playing to your strengths and you're building your character to those strengths and you're making that character better and better and better, then you're not going to have that same bullet sponginess problem, because you're going to be playing the way that you play and you're going to be doing fine. If you're specializing into katanas and you have legendary katanas, I don't think you're going to have a problem. If you then suddenly in the middle of a fight switch to a handgun, which you have no points into whatsoever, and it's not even a top tier one, and you shoot somebody in the head and they don't die instantly, well, that's not a problem with the game. I think that's a problem with the user error.
Plus, we got to remember that some bullet sponginess makes sense in this game, because we've got people with subdermal armor and chrome skin and things like that. So it actually fits. It's not as immersion breaking in this game, I don't think, than it is in just a game where you're just playing, where some normal unarmored NPC takes 10 headshots to kill. In most games it doesn't work, but in this game it makes more sense.
So I think this is I think what we're seeing here is perfectly fine. All right, let's take a look at the handgun screen.
There's a comment from Too Tall. So for me, still confirmed. My Corpo will use Mantis Blades, my Street Kid will use Gorilla Arms, and my Nomad will use that explosive projectile arms. Just seems to sync better that way. And honestly, I agree, because I'm running here thinking how I can balance out, because I'm sure you can go between using your blades and your other guns, right? So it's good to have in mind there what kind of setup I'm thinking for my melee, just because I know that I'm going to just run around and get into trouble and go, oh shit.
Yep.
So yeah, exactly. And this is confirmed now. We can definitely dual wield, and it's built into the system with dual handguns. On the right side, you see in this section here, you see that the right side is kind of dedicated to not completely, but there's a couple of images here on the right side that seem to indicate the right side is leaning more towards like, you know, using two weapons. Left side seems to indicate a little bit more of using just a singular weapon. So interesting. Good to see. Hopefully this continues to like roll out, because it's the one thing that we were, you know, how is that going to work? Because the dual wielding sometimes, you know, sometimes is done really well in games, sometimes it's done really terribly in games. I am a little disappointed, although I don't know if we know this yet. But one of the things that I personally like is having the you know, having a handgun in one hand and then having a katana in the other hand. I don't know if you can do that combo yet, but that would be really interesting if they could do that. So yeah, that would be really awesome if they could do that. So yeah, all right. Okay, so still there's still so much more that we have to like get into in the game, but yeah, this is looking really, really solid. I think what we are seeing now is definitely progressing really well within the game, and keep hitting the wrong button.
There's another comment from Fritz. Do you think it will be possible to have a no-kill run throughout the game? And
they have, so let me answer that one first. They have definitely confirmed that you can do pacifist runs. Pacifist runs do appear to be standard within the video game, so I wouldn't fret about that. How exactly that plays through? One of the things that they've done is they've added non-lethal ammunition. So it appears as if you can do a sniper rifle or a handgun build or whatever SMG build, and as long as you're using non-lethal rounds, you're not blowing anybody to pieces. You're just knocking them out. So this is cool because I like this idea. I like this concept. I'm excited to see where they could take this. Again, I have a dream of breaking into a badass you know, gang headquarters and taking everybody out, and they all think that it's the end, and then they all wake up in a little room and there's a little tea party prepared and little like thank you notes written for every single member. It's like, oh man, that V is at it again. I thought we were goners this time, and turns out she's written me a note complimenting my attire. Oh, god damn it. So
that would certainly be entertaining. I doubt you can do that in this particular game, but someday.
There was another question from Atomic Stew saying, did they also say that some people have their review copy now?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yeah. And so there's going to be some. It looks like there's an embargo that ends today for certain media who can give their impressions on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that in there. But
well, I don't know if they specifically said that people have review. Yeah, I think she did. But anyway, she said that the media has been playing the game, and they'll be publishing their impressions today.
Dorian Gray, Tiny Tina is my spirit animal.
I like Tiny Tina. We unfortunately do not play, nor do we encourage the playing of Borderlands or anything by 2K anymore, just due to problems that we've had.
So unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. You guys could go ahead and play it. Just know that company is ruthless. They go after content creators and people who they deem to be spreading opinions and ideas that they do not agree with. And it's anything and everything from, you know, anything that they personally believe to, hey, you didn't give us a 10 out of 10, we're going to send some goons to your house and start knocking on doors. Because how dare you not give us a 10 out of 10, man? So stuff like that. It's long storied history. But no, Tiny Tina is still a very well written character.
I really.
So I'm just, yeah.
And Rough Sleeper says impressions are up, 16-hour playthroughs, etc. Cool. Benny Bronco also said it's a cutting-edge, next-generation open-world game, and wholeheartedly agree, yes. Like, with just all the different sceneries that we, like, ran through there. Oh, the Mantis Blades came back up. So, I just love all the, like, the different environments that they've, like, really dove into with, like, the city life here, and, like, just, it's really amazing, just, like, all the detail, effort, and everything.
So, okay, yeah. So if you guys are interested in, if you do not want to see reviews, I highly recommend that you do not, follow too much online for stuff. So
Lots
yeah.
of info. Yeah, well, there's gonna be lots of it.
There's gonna be a lot of info dropping over the next day or two. So yeah.
Yeah, it's time to, as someone said, hunker down in the spoiler bunker if you want to avoid any more spoilerish info on the game. So,
Rough Sleeper says, overall impressions? I'm completely blown away at the scope. CDPR seems to fool players a lot too, so we're in for a heck of a ride.
I think there's going to be some surprises. I think that we haven't seen, like, there's so much we haven't seen as far as what this game has to offer.
There's so much more we can go to. There was a lot of stuff shown about in the Badlands, both direct footage and then I think footage that's meant to establish kind of like what's been happening. So very, 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 very exciting. So
yes, absolutely. 3 weeks. 3 weeks out.
3 weeks, guys. And Dorian Gay says, I just love the fact that we get a real mature game for adults. I'm tired of games where I'm a clear-cut hero. I want to be the bad guy. And yeah, like, just the amount of choice that you have in this game is amazing.
Yeah,
like, as far as, like, any of the other games I've played before.
Yes. And I mean, you can play the hero, you can play the bad guy, you can play, you can play your character how you like, and that's I think what is really appealing about this game. They throw you into the world, and you can play it as you choose.
Rough Slipper says, that poster says it all. Fritz Musterman, spoiler bunker busters engaged.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and we got a nice close-up shot of Misty there, too. I don't know if we've seen a high-res version of her before. I've never been able to find one when I've needed a picture of her for videos. All right.
I love her hair.
Yeah, it's very poofy.
Like, just all the hair. I'm blown away by all the detail. It looks so realistic.
The hair physics are really good. Yeah, I did a video focusing on all those, just showcasing all of them. It doesn't even have, like, it didn't even do any voiceover for it. Just showing hair and hair designs. Some of them from high-res renders and not from gameplay footage, but like both the styles and just how it works in the game is really, looks really awesome. And then that combined with the Jolly thing and just the character animation in general is really good. Yeah, games have come so far in the past few years, and there's definitely, I mean, we can definitely see where they're setting a new standard for character animation.
Totally. I remember when Final Fantasy X first came out, and I was blown away just by, like, having vocals in there, and then now this is, like, on a completely other level.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, anything more to say before we wrap up here? I will say thank you to everybody who has joined us today and is in the live chat. If you haven't already, please do slam that like button. We really appreciate that. Tells YouTube you appreciate this content. Of course, we'll be discussing this a lot on our Discord server over the next coming days. Plus, we have our regular podcast happening on Saturday, so definitely join us for that. Subscribe to the channel if you if you haven't yet. Yeah, Cyb, anything you want to say to wrap up?
No, please join us for the. We're going to go through the nominees for the Game Awards. There's a big list of them. Please join us for that, and we're also going to start streaming over on Twitch as well.
Mm-hmm. All right then. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Yeah, really appreciate you all being here with us. This was a lot of fun. Join the Discord server if you haven't already. The link is in the description below, where you can carry on the conversation with us and the rest of the Triple S League, the Triple S Legion members. I'm Ash. I've been here with Obsidian and Moontag, and we will talk to you all very soon.